All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Fusebox Engaged. Oh, man, I'm off my game. I usually get my music queued up right off the bat. And of course, I didn't because I was too gung ho. I jumped the gun. I went in too fast. That's, I think every man has that problem every once in a while. But yeah, welcome to another Fusebox Engaged. We have got another creator on. We are going to chat about his work, and this is an old buddy of mine that I don't think he's ever really been on this channel yet. He's been in the chat before, but yeah, I want to get a good look, and I want to ask him some questions about his book, Reaper Destroyer, which everybody and their mother should have heard about by now because this guy's been making waves. Welcome, good old Joe Sonntag.
What's going on, man?
Hell, I am chilling. How are you doing?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. It's gonna be a fun show. I can feel it.
And we have got another guest. We have got he's new to the channel. In fact, it is the Evil Ginger. What is going on, man?
How's it going?
Oh man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I heard Joe was on here, so I had to come give him some shit.
I like it. What's going on, Katie? Good to see you in the chat there.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Good old Katie.
John's always got that beard. Look at that beard. Look at that glorious, glorious beard.
Sleeping. It is always good to see you, and
Hey.
thank you. You're complimenting me. That's strange. I'm not used to that.
Take all the compliments
Instead
you
of salt
can
and
get.
pepper, my beard's cayenne pepper.
I like that.
Well, what you're calling yourself the Evil Ginger, and now it's pepper. Like,
Well,
this is-
normally when someone has gray hair, they call it like a salt and pepper look. Since I have red hair, cayenne is the closest thing I could come up with.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. You know, I got the salt and pepper look going on. And I get it because I got black hair, so it works. But yes, I like cayenne. Cayenne.
I feel like I've been deceived.
Why is that?
Only when it's funny.
Oh, lordy. But yeah. So how's everybody doing? What's going on?
Not much, man. Just, hump day, halfway through the week. It's funny. Right before we went live, I was like, it's kind of nice not to be on camera every once in a while, because I always got to do my lights down here. I got to put on my, attractive look, and now I can just play off my voice, which I've been told is very sexy and very, very
It is
nice.
giving me very confusing feelings.
I like that. I'll go with that.
But like I've wanted to be on camera, but it's that I keep meaning to buy a webcam, and it always keeps getting pushed to the back of my priorities.
Oh yeah.
But then it's also good because it's like I can just be however I want to be, and I can just chill and let it flow. Because I feel like when I'm on camera, I always have to like make faces at the camera and stuff. And
Yeah, the problem with me when I'm on camera is that I'm very narcissistic, right? And kind of vain, I guess. Like, I like to look at myself. And so when I'm on camera and other people are on, I don't ever look at anybody else. I just look at me because I'm like, God, that dude is very good looking. And I don't know how to take that when I'm looking at myself. I don't know. What's going on, Rick?
Beauty's in the eye of the beer holder, Joe.
dude,
Yeah,
I am always
true.
like
That's
that.
true.
I am a rather handsome man, except for my hairline. So I have to look.
Hey, bald is beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you anything other.
I'm
Works
technically
Jason
not bald
Statham.
yet. It's fighting it. I'm fighting it.
Well, it's like, when do you get that distinction? Like when you're losing your hair, like when do you actually say bald? Because I started losing my hair. I used to have some glorious long hair when I was in the metal band. Glorious, beautiful, thick, curly long hair. The women loved it. I'm telling you, I could have a list going. But anyway, that's a different story for another time. Once you start losing your hair, you just shave it. So, I mean, are you just bald? Because I'm just like, I'm just not going to let my hair go and recede or whatever. I'm shaving it off. We're just taking the jump, and that's what it's going to be. So like, do I call myself bald or do I say I shave my head? I don't know. I guess that's for everybody else to decide.
I think the latter. I think the latter works best because then it lets people think, okay, well, then he might not be bald. He might just be doing that to be trendy.
That's true. That is true. By the way, I just want to say shout out to Katie Did. I see her in the channel. I enjoy her what is it called? Good Morning Comicsgate show that she does on the mornings. Like I really lurk a lot. You know, I'm not, and the reason why I do is because one, I'm lazy because I have 2 different YouTube accounts. One that I'm a family plan with a friend of mine so I get the full access for free. But it doesn't have my name, so nobody knows who the hell I am. So then I've got my actual account that I don't pay for, but I can't just like work and have that on because then the screen will turn off. You know, it's just like stupid. So I don't really get in a lot of people's chats a lot, but I lurk a lot. And I like Katie Did's channel. So shout out to her show, clip, snip, snip. I love it. Love it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Around that same time I was on your show, Joe, Katie had me on hers, so she's pretty cool in my book.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed getting to know her over the last month or so, and really enjoying her show. Absolutely, Katie, you're welcome.
She helped me out a ton because I am not good with networking that well. So
yeah,
she really plugged me in, and I go on her show a lot, and she is incredibly kind and gracious.
Yeah, I got to get on there one of these days. It's hard for me with my schedule to do shows that are like before 7 o'clock, PM.
Hey, that was a tribute. That was a good tribute.
What is GMCG? Oh, good morning. Okay, let me just explain something real quick. I'm not really good with the abbreviations, as you can tell. I just see letters. I'm dyslexic. That's part of it. So I'm just like, what? Yeah, I'm bad at that. You gotta just spell it out for me. Let me read it. Although I can't read either, so that's also an issue.
Just say you're old. It's fine.
I'm old. Well, yeah, like Rick Saylor says. Joe's old. He goes to bed at 9. That's true. I wish that was the case. I get a lot more sleep.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Let us go ahead and click on the link, which I have how do I put it? I have it pinned in the top of the chat.
Oh, there you go.
And that is the link to the sign-up page for Reaper Destroyer number 2, which is launching in September.
Yes. Well, so it was originally going to launch in September, but I was talking to Ethan, and I was like, I never did a second chance campaign. And after being on the Kings and stuff, I discovered there was a lot of people that didn't back my book. And I was like, maybe I should do a second chance campaign. So I think what I'm going to do is do a second chance campaign in September. I got some new covers going. Just do like a short campaign, maybe 30 days or something like that. And maybe push issue 2 to November. The whole idea is like, can I generate some more excitement, new backers to come and back it, when I launch the second issue? And so I was encouraged. I was like, they were like, do it. So I think I'm gonna do the second chance campaign on September 19th. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I should do it. I utilize, I guess, whatever I can do to sell the original issue before going into issue 2, which I think is going to be fucking awesome. I just have to say, we're going in a little bit more of a fantasy direction, where the first issue was more kind of urban city-based stuff that you might see with regular superheroes of this dark kind of nature. But the story is so much like fantasy infused into it that it's hard not to jump into different genres like that. And I'm so excited to kind of explore, especially artistically wise, in the next issue with this kind of fantasy feel for this issue. So I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be different than what people expect, but it's gonna be awesome. I'm very, very excited about it.
Well, hell yeah. I mean, I have been seeing this art for a long time now, and it has piqued my interest quite often. So that's why I wanted to have you on to ask some questions about it, because I love like dazzling artwork like this. But then
Bedford did a great job on that.
Oh,
Oliver,
100%.
Yeah, what's cool about this is I haven't put any of my artwork on this sign-up sheet because I have just artwork from badass artists like Brett motherfucking Booth. I've established this. I need to trademark it. When Brett was on our channel on the Spawn Review or on Ott and Stuff with me and my co-host Sean Aaron, he's been on quite a few times, and we kind of established his name. It's not just Brett Booth, because he's too awesome. When you say his name, you guys say Brett motherfucking Booth. You got to put the respect on it. So I want that trademarked, and 25 cents every time somebody says it goes to me. I just want to put that out there. But I have this art from him. I'm like, I gotta put this on there, and I also have this cover from Oliver Isabedra. This is so badass. It's like, you don't even need my art right here, because I mean, people have seen I can draw. I'm okay. You know, I'm all right. So. But I want to advertise with what I got right now, and I'm so excited about these two covers that like, I'm a fan of Oliver's. I'm a fan of Brett motherfucking Booth. So I want to put this on the sign-up sheet so people know what they're getting just in this before we drop anything else.
Well, hell yes. But yeah, I want to know more about the story, because I'm more of a story guy. Like, that's the writer in me. I gotta get some meaty bits here. That's what she said.
Oh yeah.
So
sorry.
It was, you don't have to answer any questions that might be too spoilery, but
I do have to say, I see Kayla in the chat. She is my assistant editor on the book, and she's usually pretty good at yelling at me when I get into spoiler territory, which is good because I tend to do that sometimes. So, but I'm gonna try to keep it. Yeah, no spoilers, Joe. Exactly. Yeah, I'll keep it. I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
We'll incur the wrath of Kayla.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Well, because see, that's the problem. Like, I do tend to ask a little too much.
Ask away. I'm probably better at answering questions when people ask than just kind of going out. Because my problem is that I'm still learning how to pitch better. You know, like, that's just, I think all us indie creators, that's one of the hardest things to do, is to pitch your book. Some people are really good at it. Other people are like me that kind of struggle, because I'm like, how do I tell this story without going into spoilers? Because I know everything that's going to happen, and I'm so excited about it. I just want to dive into and be like, we're going to do this, and this happened, and this person did this.
Yeah, I would say try to leave out.
Questions asked me are probably way better.
Yeah, I would say you just try to leave out whatever is coming in, like, the third act of the book.
Exactly, right? I'd be like, guys, guess what? The twist of the book is this.
Like, I think you can kind of divulge a bit of the setup, but you don't want to give too much of, like, what happens and how it's going to end and all that jazz.
Right. And I'll say, for anybody that hasn't gotten the book, so I'm very much doing a floppy format. Now, the first issue is 44 pages. I kind of expanded it just because I wanted to give the crowdfunding crowd a little bit more juice for their money. But this story is very much aimed at being like the old floppy format. 24 to 32 pages is what I think I'm going to go with going forward. And I think it just tells the story better pacing and all that kind of stuff. So this is issue 1 of an ongoing series, although we are just at the beginning of the first story arc.
Well, hell yeah. So I guess the first question I would ask, you say this is fantasy based. So does this take place in our modern world, or is this a separate world, or is this what's going on there?
Yeah, it's a version of our world, right? So I don't think this is spoilers to say this. I allude to it in the first issue, but I have been saying this quite a bit throughout the time I promoted the book and talked about it. And if you guys got the ash can, there is some backstory to a lot of the characters in the book that we haven't quite got to. So it's not necessarily spoilers if you got that. But in my world, so it's a or a different version of this world, but a version of the world is if it existed with these characters I have called the Elder Sons, who are immortal characters who basically existed in time before time and kind of built everything up that we see, the 8 wonders of the world or whatever, like Atlantis, like all this technology, all the things that we talk about with myth or whatever. And their technology has influenced the world over time. So yes, this is the real world. It's still real New York, but it's a futuristic in nature when it comes to technology, I guess, is the best I'll say without going into too much spoilers.
Okay, so we're dealing with I love that whole, I love it when stories do the whole well, how did the world wonders, how did this come to be? Well, it turns out it was an ancient advanced race of beings far beyond our comprehension.
Well, I'm a conspiracy guy. I like a good conspiracy. I've been into conspiracies and for years now. And I do like also some religious conspiracies. And there's a lot of things, I guess you could call it religious conspiracies, fringe religious thoughts, I guess. But there's a lot of things in certain religions. I'm a Christian. If you go onto the fringe aspects of Christianity. There's a lot of people that believe a lot of different things about the creation of the world or time before time and all this stuff. And whether I believe it or not, there's some things in there that were really interesting, and it was like, this would make a good story. And so I'm like, how do you explain some of the ancient wonders of this world and the ancient myths of the world as well? Well, you explain it by human beings, an immortal race that lived way before the race of Adam, and they were smarter than us, technology, all that kind of stuff. And at some point in the past, it was destroyed and taken away from them, but remnants still exist. So I wanted to dive into that kind of conspiracy aspect of it. And there's so much more in the book and in the story going forward we're going to actually touch into and dive more into the past. But right now we're kind of focused on this point in time in the story itself.
Nice. Yes, indeed. And I'm not taking the bait, Sleeping. I know what you're plotting. Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
So let me see here. So we've got first of all, the difference between conspiracy theories and truth is about 6 months.
That's a good point. That's usually how it shakes out. Absolutely.
Anything could be possible at this point.
That's where I live in with my brain. I like to think of, I don't like to be in a box with stuff. Like I like to think of things that possibly could be, like that's why I don't get irritated when people come up with crazy theories like flat earth or inner earth or hollow moons and other dimensions and stuff, because I'm like, yeah, it possibly could be. We live in a crazy world, we really do when you think about it.
And you can go the Tolkien route, which is the earth was flat and then it was reshaped into a ball.
Exactly. Now that could be, that would satisfy everybody, right? That would satisfy the flat earthers. It would satisfy the round earthers. Yeah,
exactly.
I like that.
So, in this setting, let's see, Reaper Destroyer #1, like, does that take place in? I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say it takes place in New York City.
Oh yeah, and that's that's my influence from just growing up in comics. I was a teenager in the 90s, and it seemed like every comic book character in the 90s was in New York, whether it was Spider-Man, Spawn. I mean, even like Superman and Batman were like New York style cities, even with Metropolis and Gotham, right? And so it just seemed right. You're trying to figure out, you're making a character, you're making a story, you're like, where is this character going to exist? Well, put him in New York. That's where everybody else is. Like, that's just kind of how it originated,
Well, I want to see more stories that take place in New Orleans.
There you go. Yeah.
Possible biased reasons.
I mean, the biggest thing I think is the New York is one of the most recognizable cities. So it just makes sense to throw a character there, because even if you haven't been to New York, everybody knows New York. It's all over the movies, TV, all that kind of stuff. I think more so for like marketing reasons, it makes sense. But it is interesting to me when I see other characters in towns you don't expect. New Orleans would be cool. I remember when Savage Dragon was cool, and I'm talking about early 90s Savage Dragon, not the woke BS you have now from Eric Larson. But that was in Chicago, and I thought that was cool because Chicago's only 3 hours away from me. I was like, Chicago, so.
And also, Anthony Figueroa, his series, I'm blanking on the name right now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, me too. It was
the one with Jean Lafitte.
I know what you're talking about. Why can't I think of it? Rick knows. Rick, what was that? What was the name of that series?
Because I remember I read the first one there, and I liked what he did with it, because he didn't make it too cliche New Orleans.
Right. Yeah, and that's key, And that's the thing I do with New York is, like, I don't really make it, since it's my version in New York, I'm not really worried about having like all of the stereotypical sites that you see, like Statue of Liberty or Times Square. My first issue really takes place in one little section, I think, of Manhattan.
Okay.
More than anything, and we don't really go much beyond that in that story. So I want to keep things localized for the most part, except for, like, I do want to get out of the city. Like I said, the first idea was like, keep it in the city where you're following like Spawn, The Darkness, Moon Knight, like all these characters that take place in New York. But I wanted to pull it out and be like, I've got so much story, so much theology, I guess you could say, within this world that I've created. Like, there's so many dimensions and stuff that I haven't even alluded to or even presented to the audience. Like, let's start exploring some of that stuff, and that goes more into the fantasy based aspect of the story. So I've been very inspired lately by a lot of fantasy art and fantasy storytelling that I was just like so inspired. I was like, I gotta do it. So we're gonna dive into it in issue 2 and go way more fantasy visually.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Take it, yeah. Start off with a known trope and then take it in a new direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the main character, I'm is his name Reaper Destroyer, or does he have his own name?
Yeah, so
name?
The funny thing about this character, so the book's called Reaper Destroyer, obviously. The main character's name is Matthew Walker, and then there's the secondary character whose name is Apophis. These are two characters that exist within this, almost like a prison. The suit of armor, the supernatural suit of armor, acts almost like a prison and is holding these two characters for what we don't know yet. We're going to find that out. The whole idea, and if you guys got the Ashcan, the original Ashcan I launched in 2020, you will have seen this within the backstory of it. So the idea is that when you combine man and spirit together and they act as one, they become the entity, the weapon known as the Reaper Destroyer. So right now in our story, it's not technically, there's nobody technically that is the quote unquote Reaper Destroyer, because you have to combine those two elements. But to do that, one has to die. So there's a conflict between the two main characters, because obviously the human part of the characters, Matt, doesn't want to be taken over by the spirit and become essentially dead to become this weapon. So right now, I guess the Reaper Destroyer is something that they're working towards, or maybe in Matt's position, trying to keep from happening.
Okay. There was a lot going on there.
Yeah, like I said, Kayla's going to yell at me at some point if I tiptoe too much into my explanation with spoilers. But I do feel kind of confident because the Ashcan that went out, and again, I reprinted this Ashcan for the Destroyer box in the first campaign. So anybody that got the Destroyer box also got this Ashcan. And in the back of it, there are like 2 or 3 pages full of like backstory that kind of explains a little bit about the history of the world, the history of characters, which you're only going to get with that Ashcan, which is why it was such a fun thing to get. So I don't mind talking about it because technically that info is out there. Yeah.
So who is the current Reaper Destroyer?
So there is no current Reaper Destroyer. So it's essentially a weapon that is created once the man and the spirit inside the suit form into one. So right now, this character is the embodiment of what Reaper Destroyer will be if the characters actually form into one. So I guess that's what I could say. People call him the Reaper Destroyer because of the look, because of those that know what the entity is or weapon is within the story itself, see it. But okay, sorry, Kayla, sorry.
It was just getting good, Kayla. Damn it.
Yeah, I guess I was getting into too much spoiler there. So yeah, technically we don't have the quote unquote Reaper Destroyer yet.
Okay.
It's something that has to be developed, but could be developed with these two characters. I'm safe in saying that, I think.
Is there a particular threat in this issue that's being introduced that's gonna propel things going forward for the series, or is it strictly just to get the Reaper Destroyer, or is there something the Reaper Destroyer is needed for?
So there's a lot of mystery
Kayla,
I have.
If that made any sense.
What was that, John?
I say it's Kayla if Joe says too much.
Yeah, she'll jump in real quick. So there's a lot of mystery that I have built into this story. There's a lot of characters. I mean, there's going to be even more characters introduced into issue 2 as well. And it's kind of like a chessboard. Where do all these characters fall into place, and what are their positions within what is happening right now? I kind of follow along with Matthew Walker, who has this kind of you guys seen the movie The Bourne Identity, right?
A long time ago.
Exactly, a long time ago. But there was part of that inspired me, with a character that just kind of shows up and he doesn't have his memory, but he's being chased by certain organizations or government organizations or whatever it was in that movie, and he's got to try to figure out who he is and how he actually fits into this place, and nobody is actually telling him like the actual truth, and he's got figured out on his own. You as a reader are meant to kind of go on this journey with Matt. One of the things I found from certain people that read this book and gave me helpful critique on the story was like, we don't know enough about Matt's character, and it's kind of confusing when you introduce him into the story. And I'm just like, yes, I get that, but that was done on purpose. Like, this is supposed to be a slow burn with Matt's character. He's the least developed character within the book because we don't know anything about him, and neither does he. So you as the audience are going to discover this world and who he is through the eyes of Matt as he discovers it. So
excellent.
There's something special about him, right? Because it has to be. He's the main character. Why is he here? What's this purpose? So we're going to find that out as we go. I think issue 2, we're diving way more into kind of developing that and giving you a little bit of a taste of what Matt's about. Whereas this issue is a lot of character introduction, because like I said, there's a big cast. There's a big cast in this series, and you got a little bit more of that feel than you did Matt. So Matt will be developed a little bit more, but it is going to be a slow burn and a mystery that, I mean, I don't want to just put it out there for everybody, like when you're telling the story, or at least my idea of telling the story is like, I want to have some mystery, because my favorite things about watching any kind of TV series is you watch the first or a movie, you watch the first episode, and then if it's well told with a mystery, you really want to go into the next episode and be like, all right, I got an idea what's going on, kind of confused a little bit, but there's something fun with that, right? You're like, all right, where's this going to go? Who is this person? How is it going to unfold? But I know very little about it, so I'm jumping in for the long ride to see how this develops. That's kind of how I want to tell this story with Matt.
Well, hell yeah. And that's the perfect setup for a fantasy story, of having your character be a fish out of water. So it's that he has to learn about the universe, and subsequently the reader learns through them. And it doesn't come off as unnatural.
Right, exactly. And I think that some people, the funny thing about the crowdfunding space is a lot of the books in crowdfunding are 60 plus pages, and it's more like a graphic novel setup where you have like a story that's being told. It's basically an A to B story, and then the next book's going to come up and continue that story, but you have kind of a beginning and end to that story. This didn't, and I think I threw some people off that weren't expecting that. But again, like, I'm trying to develop a series, like, this is much more in the vein of like a monthly book, even though obviously it's not going to be monthly, but that's kind of how I'm telling it, so there's gonna be cliffhangers at the end of the book. It's not going to be the full story, so if anybody got that and was disappointed, I'm sorry, but this is the format of what I'm going for.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's pretty common with a series, like kind of like mine, but I would suggest make sure that there's at least one arc that is completed in each issue. Like, it doesn't have to be a major thing, just like some kind of setup and payoff in each issue.
Well, the thing about this, so the story arc that we're in right now is a 5-issue story arc, because I'm going kind of more traditional how floppies go, right? Because my ultimate goal is to have this in a floppy format, and then eventually, if I can get it into stores and put it out on a monthly basis after the first arc is done, then it kind of flows just like you would have any other series that you pick up at your LCS. It would make sense. You buy it 1 month, and the next month comes out, you continue the story, like chapters that we're going in right now. So the first issue was very much introduction. You gotta know who the villain is. What the kind of the wheels that they're turning for people's motivations and all this kind of stuff. And then also infused a lot of questions, more questions than answers, because I want you to come out of this first issue with questions like, what is this character? What does this character have to do? Who is Matt? Why is this person doing what they're doing? Because I want to build that into issue 2 as we go forward. I can't do a story where I tell an arc within the first issue. It's just, that's foreign to me. Just of all the stuff that I've read as a fan, that's just not how you do it with like if you're telling an ongoing series. That's, you got to do the story arc. You got to let it play out over how many ever issues.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I didn't mean like the major story. I just meant like having little mini tiny vignette stories within that have.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's funny because in issue 1 I follow 2 different stories, really, because you asked me about an overarching villain in the story. I've got one major villain whose name is Vanessa. She's like the big bad of the series, right? and she makes a brief appearance, but there's this whole like this coming of this danger aspect with her. Whereas I have this other character named Victor, he's a villain of the book, although in his mind he's kind of the hero, kind of like what Thanos is doing. He's got his own motivations for, like Thanos in Infinity War and Endgame. He's got his own motivations for what he's doing, and in his mind it makes it right. But he's an awesome character because he can kind of carry the secondary story in the book. So while we're doing Matthew and Apophis and all the issues with them, who is Matt, what's he going through, we also follow a character named Victor Reigns and what is he doing. And the whole idea is like, when are these characters going to meet? When are they going to be brought together for like this big reveal? So that's kind of what I'm working on here. I got two stories, I guess, going in one at the moment.
Well, hell yeah, man.
It's complicated, you know. Like I didn't try to make it easy when I dove into my first comic. You know, I could have been really like bare bones, stereotypical. Let's do this, but like the way my mind works, I just have so much to get into, and the world I created is so massive that even in this book, I'm only touching on a little bit of it. Which is why, like in the future, I want to release other titles so I can kind of explore the world that I've created more that I can't do in this book. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. 100%. That's the best kind of stuff to do, especially with fantasy, is making the world bigger than the story itself so that you can tell more stories within it.
Well, I've said, you know, my story kind of spans in my world from the beginning of time to the end of time, but we're kind of focused on this current time within this storyline, if that makes sense. But I've got like this massive just A to B or A to Z, I guess you could say, when it comes to the world I've created.
Nice. Well, hell yes, sir. Now, let me see. What kind of critters we got in this story? What kind of creatures? Like, we have demons? Do we have spirits? Do we have aliens?
I mean, I would say throughout the series, all the above, right? Within this book, though, it centers more or less on the spiritual world, and you could call them demons if you want. I guess perception of even people within this world, they would be called demons. But in my construction of my world, there's different orders of spiritual entities, right? Going all the way up to the angels and above. But this isn't a story that really dives into like the heaven versus hell thing, because that's been done before. I think Spawn does it probably the best. But I definitely wanted to dive into the spiritual nature of things, because it's something I've always been interested in. Obviously going back with my faith, but also a lot of the other stuff that I've kind of dove into over the years. So this has like Apophis itself, like I said before, he's a spiritual entity. You could call him a demon, but basically he's just one of the entities that represents death throughout history. So that's kind of where he's coming from. And there's other entities you're going to see. You could be spiritual entities. They could be genetically modified creatures in this book as well that you see. There's so much to dive into, and just the technology of this world we haven't even really touched on too much. Will be revealed as we go. But in the beginning of the book, if you guys got the ash can, if you guys got the book, there are shock troop creatures that are characters that kind of turn from human into these like gigantic monsters that Reaper Destroyer fights, or that Matt fights in the beginning of the book. And that just gives you kind of a little bit of a hint of what is you can do within this world with technology.
Well, hell yeah. Any angels?
They're down the line. I plan on introducing them. I think one of the biggest things I wanted to do with this was right off the bat, I didn't want to have that Spawn ripoff feel. So I was like, I'm going to avoid the core aspects of heaven and hell within at least this first story arc. So, but I have, like I said, I have heaven and hell exists within this world. So at some point, those entities, those characters will come into the story. But I was just like, for right now, let's just focus on other spiritual entities and genetically modified creatures that we can just have fun with before we get into that deeper stuff, I guess.
Nice. Yes, indeed. We need this is giving me vibes of maybe a tiny bit of Resident Evil mixed with like Constantine.
Yeah, I could see that. There is anything you can think of can exist in this world. I think that's what's fun with me, because it's all of my influences from the time I was a kid to now, you know. So there's really no rules of what can or cannot exist. Vampires, sure. Werewolves, sure. You know, like kaijus, whatever. You know, whatever I want to do in this world is available to do, right? And that's what makes it really fun, because there's no limits on what we can do. And the inspirations I draw from are stuff like video games or fantasy stories or stuff like that. So you might see elements of, you know, something that might remind you of Resident Evil or remind you of Lord of the Rings or whatever. Throw it out there. But I guarantee you, you're going to find something fun in this book and throughout the series as well that we do.
I got a big Devil May Care, Devil May Cry, the video games. I can't remember the name.
Devil May Cry?
That one, thank you. I don't play a lot of video games because I'm so busy
neither do
drawing
I.
all the time. But I got a big feel of like the Hell Scene and Constantine and Devil May Cry from the copy that I read.
Oh, nice. What's funny about that is because I do pull so much from just probably pop culture when I was growing up, is there probably are so many elements of the story where you could say, this reminds me of this reminds me of that, even if it wasn't even directly in my mind. And I think that's great, because this is the story is a mind dump. It's a brain drain of just everything that I've loved over the years. You know, like take for instance, if you like the Guyver, the animated, the series, or the movie, or the manga, the Guyver, if you guys know what that is, you might draw some correlation to the beginning of Reaper Destroyer, because I did something specifically. I always loved in the Guyver that you had characters that could change from human to monster and then you fight. And I put that into the beginning of the book because it was just an influence of mine, right? It wasn't necessarily like, oh, I need to do a story like the Guyver or something. I'm just like, hey, humans that can morph into monsters and fight each other, that's cool. Let's do that, you know? And so there's so much of that within my story, within the books. I'm sure it's going to remind people or give you a feel of certain things, whether it's video games, movies, or comics itself.
Well, hell yeah. So I guess my next question would be, and again, you don't have to get too spoilery.
I'll do my best. Yeah, Kayla will yell at me.
No, I'm just letting you know that I'm not gonna push. But
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just wanted to know, like, can you tell us any of Reaper Destroyer's abilities?
To a point, because there is a lot that we don't know, that he doesn't even know what he can do yet right now. But he's obviously, what you see in this book is he's got this suit that he doesn't really know how to control. But within the book, you see him be able to generate certain crude kind of weapons, up to a point where he can kind of generate guns every once in a while, blades or whatever he can create as well. But he doesn't know how to control them. He doesn't know how to kind of quote unquote summon them or make them, right? So he's kind of at a frustration that he's got all this ability, or at least he feels like he does, but he doesn't quite know how to use the suit properly. So it just kind of happens when it happens. Now, that by itself is kind of cool. I like that. But the entity known as Apophis, one of the ancient spirits of death, he is able to manifest his power through Matt and through the spirit as he's in the real world and not in his spiritual dimension. When he has control, he is able to kind of pull his own power. And now what his power is it can be, once you become the Reaper Destroyer, could be on a cosmic level. But right now he can summon certain weapons. Almost I liken it to like the constructs of what Green Lantern does. But his choice is a death scythe that he can kind of summons that has this badass look, you know, it glows red. And with that, you know, he can really pretty much decimate anybody he wants. But there's a lot of powers that aren't revealed yet and won't be revealed for a while. But there's a lot of abilities within this character that are going to be pretty badass. And when we actually get there, I can't wait, because visually, I'm looking forward to drawing it.
Oh, hell yeah. And I mean, a scythe definitely makes sense with the name Reaper Destroyer. I mean, you gotta go there.
Right. I mean, the name itself should just give you an idea of what that might mean for.
Badass.
Thank you. You know what's funny about the name is in the early 2000s, when you're trying to create a name, you want something that stands out. You know, there's been 1,000 Reaper characters even currently out there, so there's nothing special about that. But I was reading a book by Mark Silvestri by Top Cow called Hunter Killer. And I always thought that was kind of cool to have like the kind of the dual name aspects to the character. And one day it just popped in my head. I have no idea where it came from, but it just Reaper Destroyer popped in my head just out of nowhere. I didn't have a concept for anything. It was just a name. And I was like, I like that. One, it's unique. When you say it, it sounds almost kind of odd, but the more you say it, the more it makes sense, the more it sounds cool, the more it flows. And I took that and I developed a story based off of that name and a loose sketch of a character I had no idea what I was going to do with. And that became Reaper Destroyer back in 2007 when I first created him.
Well, hell yeah. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit.
Right? Yep.
See, I know fancy books too.
Hell yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
I love stuff like that. Like a lot of this stuff that I get just kind of, it pops in my head and it's just, I don't know where exactly it comes from. I'm not going to claim to be a smart person or anything, but there's some cool things, even when I was in music, song names, song ideas, all that kind of stuff that would just pop in my head sometimes. And it's just like, man, that's cool. Like, it's catchy. I like it.
Oh, exactly. Like, I'm not going to lie. The name Outlaw Nights, like, I just picked it because it sounded like a cool, like, it sounded like something like, oh, this could be like on a novel with like somebody running through the desert or something, like,
yeah.
Outlaw
And
Nights.
you got to have that too. I mean, a name of a book is it's got to be catchy, and you need it to stand out from others too. So like, it's what I like about the name Reaper Destroyer. Like, it doesn't sound like another book, when you hear the name, it can only mean one thing, and I love that aspect about it. And I like the other people like it too. Like, I remember when I first created it, I'm like, is anybody going to like this? Does it sound too weird? Is it too off the wall? But people seem to really, really dig it. So that's awesome.
That's one of the main things I liked about it is the fact that it does sound cool. It's unique, but it's not like you can say, oh, that's just a ripoff of so-and-so. Or
right.
He just stole from this guy. You can go toe-to-toe with any of those characters that they would accuse you of ripping off. But he's still his own unique individual.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I've been pretty open about the character itself. I mean, the design and stuff, it's an amalgamation of all, like I've said it before, like 23 different characters. And I'm not even joking about that. There were 23 different characters that inspired me for the design of the suit. And it could be something from very small to big. But it's a design creation of all the stuff that I love in comics dumped into one. Same thing with the story, like I like to do familiar but new, right? Like I want you to see Reaper Destroyer and be like, yeah, sure. It might remind you of, gives you Spawn vibes or the Darkness vibes or Moon Knight vibes or whatever vibes. And that might bring you in because you're like, hey, that's cool. I like that. I like these things. I'm going to check this out. But when you get in there, the story itself is unique. The character is unique and it's going to take you in a new place. It's like, that's kind of my philosophy. Familiar but new.
Well, hell yeah. And I mean, it all, for me, like, it took me, mentally, it made me think of, I don't know if y'all remember, they did a video game about Dante's Inferno.
Sounds familiar.
I saw the anime. It was pretty badass.
I know, like,
the one I'm thinking of.
Probably, because I think they did make an anime out of that, but, like, I just remembered in, like, the demo of the game, like, in the very beginning, like, Dante ends up fighting death itself.
Yeah.
And like killing him with his own scythe. And that was where my head went when I heard Reaper Destroyer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. That would make sense.
I love the character, like the idea of death. Not the idea of dying, but the idea of the character of death. And part of Reaper Destroyer's design was kind of the thought of the Grim Reaper. Now, a lot of things in my story that you guys are going to discover, and this isn't spoilers, is that a lot of my characters in the mythology that I have within my story, you're going to find out that these are things that inspired the legends, or mythology itself. It inspired the Grim Reaper, or inspired the pantheons of gods. I'll just say that without going into spoilers, but that's what I love about this world is, like, yes, it's my own world, but it's kind of touching into reality. So anything that we can think of that has happened are things that were inspired, because I believe that, right? Like, I believe that our human consciousness, stories that we've written, have come from some point of truth, whatever that truth might be. Maybe it was twisted along the way. I don't know. But a lot of stuff that we hear about, dragons, ancient gods, whatever, were inspired at some point of some kind of truth that became what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to kind of put that within my story, or the basis of the groundwork of my world.
100%. Like I am down with that line of thinking, because like that, I was thinking about how, like, you notice how like dragons are present in multiple mythologies that are separated. And it's like that's a little too on, you know what I mean? Like that's a little too eerily similar.
Oh, dude, I'm right there with you. And that's why when you're like, what exists in this book, I'm like, anything. Because that's why I look at it in the real world. And I've had this conversation with people before about dragons. I'm like, do you think dragons existed? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if they're what you depict in paintings and ancient cultures, but I do believe that something exists that inspired the legends of the dragons, because they're in all cultures, they're in the Bible, all over the place. So I absolutely believe that kind of stuff, like, go far enough back into history, because I don't feel like we know our own history. I mean, it's been too long. Things have been hidden. Things have been destroyed. There are things that we don't know that existed. Like, let's not be so hubris to think that we understand everything about everything, right? So there's got to be awesome answers, and that's what gets me so inspired and excited about like the fantasy aspects of this real world that we live in, because you like the possibilities of dragons. I mean, what could those have been? What was the Leviathan in the Bible? What was Atlantis? Like it had to have existed, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was Numenor, and it's where I'm from.
There you go. I like it.
And I personally think that dragons, I think that they were probably inspired from people finding dinosaur bones, but that's just me.
That could have been, but I feel like the dragons go way beyond that. I mean, think about when people really started excavating dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be, but the legends of dragons go way far back. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of years, maybe more, that people talked about dragons. And it's just a word. We have no idea exactly what they were, but they were something, right? It's the same, like, hell, the Bible even talks about unicorn. Do I believe it's a horse with a horn? No, but it could have been some kind of different kind of mythical creature that was based on reality. Like that's the way I look at the world. Like all these things could be true. Maybe different versions of what the original one was, but I think everything that we know in this world could be true if we looked hard enough, if we had the evidence.
Lemuria, is that where lemurs come from? I know
Could
that
be.
was a lame joke. I know.
Could be.
I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That was not one of my best.
It's all right. I like it.
But well, see, I'm picking up what you're putting down with that one. Like, I think that people either found dinosaur bones or possibly still living dinosaurs, and that's what they thought dragons were or something. I mean,
there's a possibility. I mean, who knows? I mean, dragons could have been a species of dinosaur too that went extinct or were killed off somehow. There's so many possibilities.
Hell yeah.
Atlantis. Like I completely believe in all of those ancient cities that they've been romanticized, but I believe there's truth to where these things came from. And one day we might discover that truth. But until then, we can sit and wonder and just be like excited about the possibilities of what may be, and just know that this world is so much more than what we think it is. And the history of it is so much more in depth, probably so much more magical. Seems to be a bad word to use, kind of gay, but so much more than what we see.
We're allowed
right?
to be gay here.
Okay, let's do it. Just hold on a second. This is a kid's show. Just calm down, everybody.
Oh, yeah, kids show. Yeah, right. Okay.
There you go. I feel you, Rick.
But yeah, ladies and gents, everybody watching right now and everybody watching in the replay, click on the link here in the chat. I've also got it pinned and in the chat. sign up for Reaper Destroyer. Yeah, you're going to be launching the Second Chance campaign of issue 1.
Yeah, please sign up for that, and just know that if you sign up for that, you don't have to sign up for the Second Chance campaign. I'm going to run everything through those signups just to keep it from being too confusing. But I'm going to launch the Second Chance campaign, I think on September 19th is what I'm aiming for, and then maybe issue 2, the official launch, sometime in late October or early November. We'll see how that goes and how it all shakes out. But the Second Chance campaign is going to be a quick campaign, about 30 days. And the book's already done, so all you gotta do is back it. As soon as the campaign's done, we send it right to the printer and it comes right out to you guys. So there's gonna be no major wait for that.
Well, hell yes. So, ladies and gents, if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up. I'm gonna be getting it once I get some money in my pocket, because I am definitely intrigued in this story. And I mean, your artwork is top notch, so there ain't no beating that.
Thank you.
But we're talking about Legends. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, good. I was just gonna say, like, from the artwork standpoint, you know, I'm improving every day. I'm always trying to get better and better, because that's what, I mean, John will tell you, that's what our whole goal as artists is, you know. So
that and world domination.
That too. I like that. World domination. Let's go.
Well, unfortunately, I think people are trying to conquer the world right now, because
that is true.
How many have y'all ever played the Resident Evil games, or have y'all heard of them?
It's been a long time. Yeah, long time.
Well,
but I'm talking about like going back to Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 3 is probably the last time I played any game.
Mean, that's a good thing, because honestly, like, the later ones you can skip. But unfortunately, I have to share with everybody that I think that the Umbrella Corporation is real.
Oh, shit.
It wouldn't surprise me.
The T-virus.
I just saw that. One of my friends sent me some of that. It's like, what the hell is that? The Cthulhu virus?
Yes, apparently in Colorado, they're finding bunnies with strange horns and tentacles coming out of their heads.
Oh, I just saw that. Yeah. I haven't been able to really read this, so this would be cool. What is this about? I just saw a picture somebody posted earlier.
Well, it's basically in Colorado, they're spotting rabbits with strange tentacle-like growths on their faces. Went viral. They're claiming that it's the Chope papilloma virus, a harmless virus that causes wart-like tumors.
Harmless, they say, huh? But they also say don't go near it.
They also said, you know, oh, the vaccine's harmless and all that, and you know.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. Like,
that's how horror movies get started.
That's exactly. Like yeah. Could you imagine seeing that out in your yard? Nope. I get the flamethrower and be like, burn it.
Again, this is all due to the Umbrella Corporation. The T-virus has been released on the public. Oh my God, K-pop! It has been so long.
Hey.
K-pop's pretty cool too.
Yeah, K-pop and I, you know, we stream together, but like, she's always so busy.
Oh, I know. I've seen her on Omer's stream every once in a while, but not. She's always doing something.
Because yeah, I had her on here, and we were trash talking Aerith from Final Fantasy VII and pissing a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. My ex-wife bought me a PS2 when we were married. It lasted longer than the marriage did. I've got it set up back here. And
that's actually how they sell them.
Yeah, when I have the free time, which isn't very often, I think that's why it lasted so long. Is it? Because I don't have time to play it a lot. But I've got all my old fighting games and stuff back here that I use to unwind when I'm not drawing or inking somebody's work.
Nice.
And they're all fighting games too, so I have fun ways to relieve tension.
So Kayla is claiming that it's what they're spraying the plants with, and it's what the stuff that they're eating. But we know that is just a cover for the Umbrella Corporation's pharmaceutical research.
Exactly.
We are going to start seeing zombies in Colorado, ladies and gentlemen. So
You know what I want to see? If all this stuff is happening with rabbits, I want to see the oh fuck, what was it called? The rabbit with antlers. What was that? What they used to call jackalope? Yeah, let's get jackalopes going, man. Like if we're gonna go this way, I want to see a fucking jackalope.
I mean, we're kind of
pretty close.
Yeah,
this one right here.
Those some antlers. Let's go.
So we're getting close. No, yeah, I do feel bad for the bunnies.
I do too. Like
they
that
don't
sucks.
deserve
Look at his eyes, innocent eyes. Like he's just like, what the hell, man?
Bunnies
Like,
have
I
a
just wanna
tough
eat a
enough
carrot.
time as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that. What just hearing about that stuff was like just freaky because it's like every time I turn around, a video game plot is coming true.
Hey, man, you know what's funny? If you believe like I believe that there is a purpose to this world and we're heading towards an end, we as human beings are inspired. Where's the inspiration come from? You know, it got to come from a different source than just our own heads, you know? So I feel like so much stuff that we have created or put into pop culture, stories or whatever could just be something trying to get us prepared, right? Through our own creations.
Oh, well,
about
yeah, I
things that
mean-
are actually happening or actually coming.
We were already living through the realization of Terminator. Like,
right.
AI is becoming a thing.
Right. That's a fact. Yep. And that's another scary story. AI, man. People got to be careful with that stuff. Now, I understand AI for certain things that can help out society in a good way. But there's so many things that I would be really worried about and hesitant when it comes to AI that people seem to be just jumping all over and excited about. I'm just like, just wait, everybody. Just wait.
AI
Before you
taking
get-
jobs from people is not a good idea.
I was
Yeah.
feeling that way, especially about like AI becoming writers. But then earlier today, I was actually listening to an audio thing of a script that an AI wrote, and it was so bad that I'm like, okay, I don't feel that worried anymore.
You know, and I think at some point, it's gonna get better. Unfortunately, because that's just how technology is, and I think at that point, it's up to us to resist going in that direction. Because what does AI do? It's gonna make the lazy people able to create quote unquote possible quality things, right? And that's just going to take all the excitement and joy out of creating. And if somebody can just type in, create me a story, create me whatever, you know, and then we're just putting out this just soulless BS all the time, you know, like that's what I don't want to see happen.
The thing that freaks me out is that like when I was listening to that script, it sounded like there were aspects to it where it's like, okay, it's creating a decent facsimile of emotion at certain spots, but then the writing would get really redundant and all that, and you'd be like, okay, yeah, this is a robot. But
Right.
I am worried. I don't want them to improve it.
No, but unfortunately they're going to. That's
I
the
know
problem.
they're working on it as we speak.
Yeah, like it's gonna happen. We just have to, I don't know, just keep producing quality human-made stuff, and I think you can at least fight back on it for a time being. But we have to come to the reality, like it's going to be something that's going to be a pain in our ass for a while. Like it's not going away. Technology is going to keep on getting better, and you're going to see more and more people get sucked into the easy aspect of this kind of creating, and it's just, you know, shit we got to learn to deal with. But hopefully, I don't know, it's a scary thing to me when you really think about where we could go in a very short period of time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm more worried about the robots.
Yeah.
Like I've on a previous stream I was looking at a video. Apparently China has already started building robots that are playing soccer,
Oh jeez.
but they look all like it's nowhere near perfection because they keep falling over and running into
Yeah.
walls but yeah, we're not ready.
No,
Mm-mm.
not at all. Not at all.
Really what this all boils down to though is that what nobody wants to talk about is the fact that basically we're just trying to catch up to where Back to the Future said we were going to be in 2015.
Yeah, that's true, and we're way past that. So, and I was always disappointed, right? You know, like I was like, when I was a kid, I legitimately thought that that's what the future was going to look like. So I was so excited growing up, you know. And imagine my disappointment when we're here 2025 and we got none of that. Like hoverboards, come on. I was so excited for them to create that. They still haven't.
They started to try in 2015 when everybody was talking about Back to the Future 2 again. They were like, oh shit, we got to try to catch up. And it's like they did a couple of little prototypes and then it just went nowhere.
It seems like they should be able to create that. You know, like I don't know why. I just feel like that shouldn't be, with today's technology, something that is that hard to do. But who knows?
I agree with this philosophy, Kayla. I'm just worried that the people who currently govern us do not think the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure a lot of them think at all.
Good point.
Well, they think, but I would say there's too many sociopaths and psychopaths who think of us as the peons that they can play with.
Yeah.
Well, that's depressing.
That it is.
Lordy. But yeah, let's see. We are coming up on about an hour now. I would go longer if I had more topics. Unfortunately, I was having trouble finding anything of interest.
Yeah, I know how that goes, man. I have a show on Sundays called The Ronan Joe Show, and sometimes I'm like, what the hell am I going to talk about this week? Like, sometimes there's some really good stuff, and there's other times it's just like, there's nothing to talk about.
I was very thankful when everybody was freaking out over the Sydney Sweeney ad. Like, that was so much fodder for jokes.
I was actually excited about that. I remember I was going to go on, I was going to talk about it on my stream, but then I've been actually kind of skipping a couple of streams lately because I've been drawing Reaper Destroyer issue 2, and sometimes you get in a really good zone on a weekend. You're just like, man, like I don't want to stop drawing, you know, like, so I'm like, I'm postponing the show. And unfortunately I didn't get to talk about the Sydney Sweeney Good Genes controversy.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I was blown away that like one stupid commercial with like a little play on words as a joke had people literally like thinking that, oh God, this is it. We're going into the 5th or 6th Reich, whichever one we're on.
Oh, count.
People are just crazy, stupid. Man. Yeah, well, yeah, just stupid. Absolutely.
It's amazing. And of course, you know, and then you got the opposite of everybody who won't stop talking about her now. Who're just like, Sydney Sweeney's doing this and that and that. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I you know, she's kind of hot. That's cool.
She's got nice boobs, you know, like, let's be real. I don't really know what her face looks like. I'm like, and I don't need to.
I assume
I don't care about it. Yeah, I think she has one. I'm pretty sure she probably does.
She has kind of droopy eyelids.
I didn't even notice, man. Just staring at her titties too much.
I didn't notice at first either, but Stimulated Cynic on a previous stream, he had to point out he thought she had Down syndrome.
Hey, if Down syndrome had that body, I'm good with it.
Oh God, we're going to bad places.
What'd you expect with this crowd?
Lordy. So yes, let me put the link in the chat once again to sign up for Reaper Destroyer.
Yeah.
I would say that Joe, a lot like you, I don't have time to really read a lot of comic books. But when you sent that digital copy, I read every damn page of that book.
Oh hell yeah, man!
It was awesome.
Well, it's funny because I didn't do a digital copy on the actual campaign itself, but because it did take us a while to get that book out, I started offering it to people that had backed it because I was like, you know, some people want to read the physical copy, which was fine. But I was like, if you want to read this book now while you're waiting, I'll definitely send it out to you. So I'm glad a lot of people took me up on that, you being one of them as well.
I'm glad you did, because honestly, I didn't want to risk damaging the book itself.
Amen.
And the cool thing about the PDFs is you get like, yeah, you're gonna lose something with printing. It's just what it is, you know. And you get that PDF and you get to see everything as it's supposed to be, right, fresh from the colorist, from all that kind of stuff. So you don't lose it. It doesn't print dark, you know, all that kind of. You just see that in the PDF, and it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I definitely recommend if anybody out there is listening and you backed Reaper Destroyer issue 1, all you got to do is tell me your backer number, and I'll send you a PDF for free. You don't have to pay for it. It would be included with your purchase of the first campaign. So yeah, hit me up. Just DM me. I'm usually on X for the most part under Joe Sonntag. At Joe Sonntag 1 is I think where you can find me. So yeah, DM me and just let me know your backer number, or email me at joemsontag@gmail.com, and I'll get you a copy of the PDF.
Well, hell yeah. Oh God, that is an awesome deal. And it makes me look bad. But shit. No, I meant to ask, is there a trailer
for the second one? No, not yet.
Is there a trailer for number 1 we can look at?
I think the campaign's closed though, so I don't think we can access it anymore. Or it is closed, so I don't think the page has the access to the trailer anymore.
It's not on your YouTube, or
well, you know what? Yeah, it might be. Let me see if I can find a link, and I'll put it in the private chat. Hold on a second. I do believe I've got it on the YouTube at some place. So
you're reminding me a lot of me.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, this music, it's catchy, man. It's funny because I've thought before, I'm like, should I ever have background music through a show? And I'm like, do people get like annoyed if you play the same thing over and over again? And I have to say, so far right now, I'm like, yeah, I'm just jamming, man. I'm
glad, because a lot of my guests have complained about it before, and I don't care.
That's what I'm saying, man. Don't care. You do what you do. You know, like that's.
Well, it livens it up. It's not just like. It's not just a conversation. Like there's some energy behind it.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Like you're playing it over and over again just to get on their nerves. You have a reason for it.
Well, it's also a form of conditioning, you know.
Well, me too.
I'm trying to slowly drive people insane. Oh my lord.
Okay, here we go. Let me. How do I access? Oh. I got that. All right, let me drop. I can share this.
It is not elevator music, Rick. This came from a non-copyright artist on YouTube.
There you go. That's even better.
So I forgot. I think he called it funky uptown retro beat.
I dropped that in the private chat. Let me know if that worked.
Let me see here. Yep.
All right.
So let me. Oh, hang on. Damn it. People always try to call me while I'm on stream, and they never call me any other time.
Ah, nice.
They know, and they're trying to ruin it. Let me see. Yeah,
I had to move my phone. I put it on the cloth that I use to clean my screen with. That way I don't hear it vibrate every time someone tries to message me. I'm like, I don't want to talk right now.
Well, you're more popular than I am, you know. I usually don't have to, but here we go. Let's check this on out.
This cheerful music.
Whoa.
Well, speeding up. It's crazy.
What's not to love about this book? Let's look at it.
Yes.
I always hate how StreamYard distorts the music when you play it, when you share it. But go to the actual trailer. But yeah, that's good stuff. That was the final trailer we did after we got all the artwork in and could kind of put it all together and showcase some of the book more than you can when you do like the teasers and stuff and you have limited amounts, you know.
Oh God, no, like that. I'm about to drop a hot take. I think that Reaper Destroyer looks much more awesome than Spawn.
Oh shit, I like that hot take. I'll take it.
I will take on as much anger and criticism from the internet for that. Because, no, I mean, that outfit and everything in the power set looks way cooler than Spawn.
Thank you, man.
Considering the music you're into, Joe, I think the soundtrack will be better than the one for Faust.
Oh,
Which Faust?
What?
The comic or the movie?
Movie.
Okay.
I saw the movie once and like Tim Vigil deserved so much better than that, but at least the soundtrack was good.
Yeah, so I mean that song was actually one of the songs from my band. If people didn't know, I was in a band called Mine Enemies Fall, so I can use a lot of copy-free music because I own it. So threw that right on the trailer, which is why I wish StreamYard would have played a better version of it coming through the filter there. But guys, go check that out. Yeah, it's got a lot of my music all over it.
Well, hell yes, indeed. Yeah, man, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on, y'all. And you guys are welcome to come back anytime you like.
Thank you.
I'll just shoot you the link whenever, and y'all can pop on if you want. If you don't want, that's fine. My feelings will be hurt, but you know, I can handle it. But yeah, let me really quick before we wrap on up. I have to be shameless.
Do
for
it.
A moment.
It's what you got to do, man. Got to do it.
I didn't have it pulled up this time, so that's progress.
Oh, damn it.
Come on now. Come on now.
Yes, indeed. Let me go right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Outlaw Nights issue number 2 is currently in demand, and we are also on Fund My Comic. We have almost hit the goal on Fund My Comic, but that's a storefront, so it's open until I say it's not.
Yeah.
But basically, yeah, issue number 2, if we can hit 2K on the Indiegogo, I will be sending every backer a preview of issue 3. And yeah, Outlaw Nights issue number 2. For those of you who may be new to the channel, who have not seen my 10 million posts about it, Outlaw Nights, this is issue number 2 of about 10. This takes place in the distant future of the 31st century. Humanity has begun colonizing into outer space. History is very much repeating itself as the nations of Earth are at each other's throats, competing over territory and resources. It's a chaotic, hellish time to be alive. And in the midst... Oh, and piracy is on the rise.
Oh, yeah.
If
More fun that
the
way.
1700s was the golden age of piracy, this would be the platinum age of piracy.
Oh, shit.
Yes, there has never been a better time to be a criminal or a pirate, because even though the nations of Earth have kind of Big Brother style authoritarian governments going, the farther out into space you go, the less grip they have, the less reach, because space is the most vast ocean there is. So yeah, in the midst of all this, we've got our main character, Cyrus Lawson, who has settled on a small, insignificant, out-of-the-way little colony called Therese. He's joined the colony guard there, but he's not really expecting a lot of trouble, because there's not much really of interest on Therese. I mean, have you guys heard of Therese before?
I have not.
Exactly. That's how obscure it is. But unfortunately, right from the get-go of issue 1, the pirates of the ship Hazard invade his settlement looking for a special piece of data. And this data is going to lead to a treasure everybody and their mothers got their eyes on. We're talking bounty hunters, pirates, governments, criminal organizations, corporations, you name it, they want it. So it is a rat race in the making. And
Nice.
issue 2 kicks off with our boy having been kidnapped by these pirates. And so now he's going to get a first-hand look at the underworld of the 31st century. And they're being pursued by this imperialistic British officer who goes by the name Wellington, who is famous for hunting pirates. And he's a little bit unhinged. Not a lot, but just a little bit.
Just a little.
So we've got guns blazing, and we are kicking off this multi-issue saga. This is, because technically issues 1 and 2 were supposed to be one issue, but I had to split it in half to make it affordable. So, ladies and gents, if you have not already, get yourself a copy. We have got awesome deals right here. If you missed issue 1, that is not a problem, because we've got both available for the price of one. You can get issues 1 and 2 physically for just $25. So I would not pass that up if I were you. And yeah, let me just play my trailer real quick. And yes, K-pop has a thing for the pirates in this book.
Oh.
Pirates are cool.
I can't say I blame her, but you know.
Well, you might be biased though.
I a little bit. I mean, I don't even like, what is this book? Outlaw something? What? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure everybody in this group is pretty biased about something.
I'm not gonna comment on that. That just sounds like an accusation. But let me see here real quick. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, thank you once again for coming on, guys. I appreciate the heck out of it. Joe, where can everybody find you?
You can follow me on any social media under Joe M. Sonntag. I'm primarily on X. That's where I'm at, but also Instagram, I guess Facebook as well, although I'm hardly ever there. You can follow me on the YouTube channel, Ronan Joe, which we stream multiple times a week, unless I'm working on Reaper Destroyer. But we have a show on Tuesdays called The Spawn Review, where we look at Spawn, oddly enough. And then we have a show on Thursdays called Otten Stuff. Both of those are tentatively at 8 p.m., although that kind of changes every once in a while with my family's schedule. You know, you guys know how that goes if you have families.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep a lookout on the channel, and you'll see it pop up. But my main show is the Ronan Joe Show on Sunday nights at 8 or 10, which is just my solo show where it's kind of like this. I sit and I shoot the shit with the chat, talk about various pop culture things, and just have a lot of fun. So sub to the channel. We're trying to grow the channel as much as we can. Share it with friends and family. Let them know that that's a fun place to be. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. Back Reaper Destroyer 2 issue 2 sign up sheet is live right now. The Second Chance campaign is launching on September 19th. So be on the lookout for that. If you sign up for issue 2, you will be notified for the launch of the Second Chance. You guys don't have to do anything else. It's not confusing. I'm not going to make you sign up twice to do different things. So yeah, check it out. Feel free to DM me. If you back the book, I'll get you a PDF.
Hell yes, indeed. And Evil Ginger,
yes,
where can everybody find you?
I'll be on Omer Glitch's show here in about a half hour. The Hump Day Show. I'm on X under Seclusion Studios. Under my name, John Epple, on Facebook and Seclusion Studios on Instagram as well.
Well, hell yes,
Nice.
indeed.
Yep. And Joe, that page I posted last night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish spotting the blacks tonight, so I'll be posting an update of it. Actually,
Nice. I'm looking forward to that, man. It's looking good. The inks. Yeah. Check it out.
Oh, Lord. Hang on.
Yeah, it's looking good. Traditional. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's looking awesome.
I may start rendering it tonight, but I'll at least have the black spotted.
Well, hell yeah,
awesome,
man.
Yes.
Be sure to follow both of these gentlemen.
Yes.
And I am, of course, your host, Ben, a.k.a. The Fusebox. You can find me on Twitter at Fusebox7. You can also find me on Instagram at Outlaw Nights. And you can find me on Facebook under my real name, Ben Fuselier, Fuselier. If you like anything we had to say, go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell for notifications. And hell, if you didn't like anything we had to say, if you were just disgusted by everything, go ahead and hit the dislike button. Because whether you love us or hate us, it doesn't matter. It feeds us. We're on YouTube. We just crave the attention. We don't care what kind it is.
That is true. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us once again, ladies and gentlemen, and we will talk to you all later.
Yes.